Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third place match of the VocTer Gaming UK Open. Once again, one of these players did have to forfeit his match for his semi-finals match, unfortunately, because he was in a 2v2 tournament, but that doesn't matter, he is now playing for third place. So, ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Antigua Shipyard. I almost said something really bad there. Playing for Team TLR as the Blue Protoss, we have VocTer. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner as the Red Terran, also playing for Team TLR, we have Simba. So we have a double TLR third or fourth place. So we will see who goes. I will try not to be too biased as both of these players are on my team, and this is a best of 3. So we will see how this goes. The final will be a best of 5. We actually have one of the finalists in the observers with me, so I will say hi to him. Hi, Bar. That is Barbaric, who Simba had to forfeit to. So it is all good. So we will see how the semi-final goes. And the final will be Robbie G, who won the last VocTer Gaming UK Open, versus Barbaric. So we will see what happens in that game. I'm very excited about this. This is going to be very good. So once again, if any of you are wondering about the VocTer Gaming UK Open, it is set up by VocTer Gaming, or the Vocal Terrorist, who was the official caster for Derailed Esports. Currently does a lot of work with Manchester Barcraft and a media production team, which I believe is called 3v3. So very nice guy, putting in a lot of effort into this, and I expect to be seeing some really good things from him in the future. Seeing commands or morphing into the orbital command for Simba down the bottom, joking away with VocTer and getting the tech lab very early on his barrack. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's building a Marauder just to confuse him and possibly go for... there we go. He's going for the barrack, for the supply depot wall off to try and block any kind of vision. Whereas VocTer in his base is going for exactly the same build that we saw in him go in the last game that he did play, where he's just using these buildings to wall off against this area. So very nice play. But we saw how that went last time. Robbie G went for a really aggressive timing attack and just basically crushed straight through the early expansion out of VocTer, which looks like is what he's going for again. So taking a big risk here, gonna try and beat Simba with it. Simba, however, has gone for a different build and is just going for double Marauder to start off with and his concussive shell. So he's gonna be able to out micro zealots with that concussive shell ability. So he should be fine against any kind of early aggression. And once again, as we said, VocTer has already thrown down his very early expansion, throwing down a pylon on the high ground to get any kind of warp in, and we're seeing Simba patrolling, and there goes his expansion as well. And we're not seeing any more units here. Oh, but here we go. Here's the micro. We will see it use the concussive shell, and it will easily be able to take down this zealot. The zealot cannot escape with concussive shell. Very nice ability. And it does go down. There we go. Second Marauder will join up with it. Players having a joke with each other. So once again, we're just going to basically see the players macro up. This is a very nice opening for Simba. It's not as commonly used as you'd expect it to be, but with the concussive shell, it's so nice to use because you can just pick off individual units so easily. There are 2 stalkers on the high ground though, so he might be able to take them down, but he has no vision. So he's either going to have to waste a scan, or he's going to have to just move these 2 Marauders back. Going to take a couple free pot shots at this Nexus though, and then going to pull back. Not going to take the risk of pushing up the ramp or staying there too long. Just basically does a tiny bit of shield damage to keep VocTer on his toes, keep him worried. And VocTer throwing down a forward pylon just outside the third base of Simba. Simba, once again, still going for Marauders, finally building what I believe is his first Marine here. So, very interesting there. 4 Marauders at the moment, and Marines joining. Oh, and here come the SCVs. Looks like it's going to be a Marauder all in with a single Marine to help out. We're going to do some serious damage with this. His opponent has gone three Stalkers and 3 Zealots. So will VocTer be able to hold this? He really needs to get those Zealots onto those Marauders. But with the SCVs joining the fray, the Marine is far behind right now. A single Zealot has been warped in to try and deal the harassment damage, and might catch this Marauder on the way. But here comes the engagement. SCVs moving forward, holding up those Zealots from getting anywhere near those Marauders, but the Marauders doing massive amounts of damage. However, with the sentry there, it's going to be much easier. And with the home ground advantage, VocTer will probably have enough units to deal with this. Bunker going down, though, but he's going to easily be able to take down those SCVs with those Stalkers. It's all about these Marauders, though. However, Marauders do not have a regenerating shield, and there come the probes. Going to easily be able to push this back. Zealots still being slowed by concussive shell, but it's going to force Simba to pull back, cancel those bunkers, and that was very risky for very little return. Going to continue microing back, using Stim. His Marauders are now on very low health. Realizes he is heavily outnumbered and is going to pull back here. And I have no idea, Barbaric. We will find that out later. Double bunker going down at home to try and help defend against this, and spamming out the Marauders and the Marines to try and help defend against this. And Simba appears to be a bit worried. He could be trolling, but there's a lot of Stalkers coming down to his base right now. And here we go. Yeah, there's definitely going to be micro time, because Simba has the heavily inferior force right now. Just needs to macro long enough for one of those bunkers to complete, and then needs to get into it as quick as possible. One of the Marauders does go down. Man, VocTer manages to snipe both the workers just before those bunkers complete. However, he does pull back. He doesn't want to fight those 2 Marauders, and with the high DPS, just going to wait for the second warp in of Zealots. He's going to be able to go there, or he might wait for another warp in round and then go in with that. And look, here he comes. He is making sure that his Zealots are in front, just dancing around, going to have a bit of a scout, but now he knows those 2 bunkers will be complete, and he will head on home. VocTer also using this opportunity to get up his 3rd base, so he's going to be very far ahead of Simba economically. Simba wasted a lot of units in that early game push. It was a very powerful push. However, with that many, he just didn't bring enough, it seemed, and VocTer was able to drive it back with his Stalkers easily sniping the SCVs building the bunkers. If those bunkers had gone up, it would have been a very impressive push. And here we go, Simba leaving the little spaces here so that he can push through, so that the Zealots are filtered through if they try to come up with charge, which they will be, as the Twilight Council has just finished, and there is the charge on the way. Once again, VocTer going probably for that Zealot Archon. We will see a Templar Archives go down once his 3rd base economy is established, and a couple more gateways coming down in case he wants to go for any early aggression, or I say early aggression, mid-game aggression, or to defend against anything early shenanigan-ish, and throwing down a couple forward pylons just in case he wants to go for any kind of shenanigans of his own, using the Zealot to patrol to keep an eye out on what is going on, while VocTer is very simply trying to macro up his natural expansion after wasting a huge amount of SCVs in that early attack. But VocTer continuing to chrono out those Zealot legs, making sure he gets as many as possible, and continuing to build the Zealots, and his armor will be finished very soon. That will make these Zealots so difficult to kill. Even with concussive shell, it will be very difficult for him to drive this back. But here we go. The scouting barracks has lured the Stalker in, the Marauders stimming forward, and with the concussive shell will easily be able to take down forward Stalker. But this barracks will definitely go down to all these Stalkers here, and the Marauders will need to get out of there toot sweet. As we can see back at Simba's main base, he does have still pretty much the same amount of barracks as he did before, just trying to macro up while keeping a solid army, pulling a lot of SCVs here for something. He may be going for a follow-up all-in. This is definitely going to be a follow-up all-in. He knows that he's so far behind economically, and this is going to have to do damage. He does have a much bigger force this time with the help of Medivacs. Going to do some serious damage. He's probably going to try and hit the timing of that +1 upgrade. He's going to meet up with these 2 Marauders in the map. Simba's VocTer's army is looking very impressive though. It does have a lot of Zealots in it, but there's more Marines this time with Simba's army, so he's going to be able to get the DPS to deal to those Zealots. +1 defense is already finished for VocTer, and here's the engagement of Zealots dancing forward, not willing to engage yet, needs to wait for that charge to recharge before he heads in again. Simba with so much stuff right now, and VocTer moving on to the high ground so that he gets the better engagement area. However, this is giving time for these Medivacs to heal up this army. These Zealots are going to try and deal the damage, and here we go. VocTer moving forward, Zealots charging in from all angles. SCVs have been lured away, so the Zealots can actually get into the main army. Stalkers doing the damage. The factory is luring away some of these Stalker shots right now. Zealots doing so much damage right now. VocTer micro back. There's Zealots everywhere right now. More units streaming across the map for VocTer to try and Simba to try and deal with this. VocTer needs another warp in. Zealots charging forward. Simba not microing back at all. continuing to stim. Medivacs healing as much as they can, but they're all on almost no energy. More Zealots coming in from behind. Simba is trapped. The supply count is very even right now, but Simba has sacrificed so many SCVs in this that he's fallen a bit behind, but he's continuing to push forward. Concussive Shell really slowing down those Zealots from getting into bear on these Marauders, doing a really good job of this. Stalker's having to push back, and Simba is doing some serious damage here. The probes have had to be pulled. Zealots being warped right into the middle of that Marauder force, and Simba is finally having to retreat, but he's retreated back to a couple of Marauders, and these Marauders will be able to do some serious damage to this Stalker army. More Zealots being warped in, and they are getting into bear, killing off some of the weaker Marauders. This force is slowly dying out for Simba. He's not being able to reinforce quick enough, and RotCod has held. Very impressive there by RotCod, and Simba now has half the supply of RotCod. The follow-up all in wasn't enough. Templar Archives is on the way, so RotCod will be able to move into the Stellar Archon force, and in the meantime RotCod is not stopping there. He's continuing to push. He's using these Zealots to try and kill off the forward army of Simba, taking map control. More Zealots being walked in from the forward pylon are going to be able to get the easy flank on this army, going to be able to kill off that Marine, not continuing to go for that Marauder. And there's nothing left here for Simba, pulling another set of SCVs to try and help defend against this, and that's all he can do right now. As we can see, RotCod is about to push in. There's a lot of Zealots in this force. His +2 armor has finished up. It's going to make this army so tough. Good use of the supply depots there to filter out the Zealot army, but the Zealots are killing everything right now. Even if Simba lives this, his SCV line has been decimated right now. More Zealots coming in from the back, and GG smiley face from Simba. So, we will be right back very soon with Game 2 of this best of 3 series for 3rd place in the VocTer Gaming UK Open.